My client and I walked into my conference room and the defense attorney was sitting there already with the court stenographer. Find out why when I went ahead and said hello to this person who I knew for many years. I shook her hand. I said, "How are you? Nice to see you." My client thought that I was in cahoots with the defense attorney. You want to know what this is all about? Come join me on this walk through the neighborhood as I share with you exactly what this is all about and why he thought she and I were working together. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. Okay, this is a very serious medical malpractice case. We claim that the doctor was careless, causing this patient significant harm and injury. And now it was time for my client to be questioned in a process known as a deposition. We also call it an examination before trial. It's really nothing more than a question and answer session that takes place in our office. And you should know something. It takes place under oath. You're sworn to tell the truth. There's a court stenographer there to record all of the questions you are asked and all of the answers that you give. And you should know something else. There's no judge there. There's no jury there. This is pretrial questioning. But, importantly, the answers that you give carry the same exact weight as if you are testifying at the time of trial. Okay, so now I walk into this room and I know the attorney. How do I know the attorney? Because she and I have been opponents in many cases over the years. I'm in practice now over 31 years. This attorney happens to have been in practice over 30 years. And during the course of our careers, we happen to have been on opposing sides in many cases together. Now, even though in many cases in the past we have been brutal enemies, we have fought for our clients repeatedly, we can still shake hands at the end of it and say, "It was nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming." Why? Because that's what a professional does, okay? And there's nothing wrong with it, to say hello to your adversary, shake their hands, because we actually have to work together. When I say work together, it means we have to be professional. Hey, would you like something to drink? Would you like some snack before we get started? That's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that I'm not fighting for my client, and nor does it mean that she's not fighting for her client. So now, the moment I walk in, I haven't seen her for a number of months, I say, "Hey, how are you? Nice to see you." Likewise, she says the same thing. And I actually shook her hand and she shook mine. So what's the big deal? I'll tell you what the big deal is. About 2 hours later, we took a break. My client needed to use the bathroom. And he comes over to me and he had this growl, this mean look on his face. I said, "What's the problem? You're doing great." And you know what he says? He says, "I can't believe you. I can't believe that you went ahead and shook her hand. I can't believe that you're working together with her." And you know what I said? I said, "I have no idea what you're talking about." All I did was say hello, introduce myself, shake her hand. This is somebody who I've worked with professionally over the course of my career. I don't have to agree with everything she says. She doesn't have to agree with me. The fact that I'm being pleasant and polite doesn't mean that we are working together. I said, "What's wrong with you?" The mere fact that we happen to be opponents, we are professionals. And I can disagree with her as much as I feel necessary. If she asks an improper question, I'm going to stand up for you and make my objection known and explain why. If I think she's asking something that's totally inappropriate, then I will tell you not to answer the question. Don't for a second think that I'm working with her against you or against your case simply because I was being polite to her. I'm polite to every attorney who walks into my office. Why? Because that's who I am. Okay? I don't have to be hard-hitting, aggressive, nasty, screaming and yelling to everybody who walks in. That's not my personality. There may be attorneys who do that, but you know what? That's not me. That's not my firm. So if that's what you expected, I'm sorry you had that expectation, because that's the wrong expectation. I guarantee you got that expectation from watching a lot of TV dramas involving lawsuits as well as criminal cases. But you know something? It doesn't happen in these medical malpractice cases. Now, that's not to say that attorneys aren't nasty or obnoxious or condescending, because there are plenty of those. But the moment I walked in, I was polite, I said hello, it was nice to see her, and in fact it was. I hadn't seen her in many months. But it had nothing whatsoever to do with how I represented my client, nor with how she represented her client, and the battles that we actually endured and encountered during the course of this pretrial question and answer session. And by the way, there were times where we did get into it, and we did disagree, and you know what? That happens. But the mere fact that I said hello and I was polite, absolutely not. So the bottom line is, I had to set my client straight and make him realize and make him understand that one thing has absolutely nothing to do with the other. I was being professional. Likewise, she did the same thing. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you because I want you, if you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit about something that happened here in New York, I don't want you to have that expectation that your attorney has to be a pit bull and a bulldog and has to be aggressive and screaming and yelling every step of the way. Because you know what? It doesn't happen behind the scenes. You may see that at trial sometimes, but behind the scenes, if an attorney does that, I tell you that there's a problem, that there's probably a personality problem. You know, I realize you likely have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York, and you have not yet started a lawsuit, but are thinking of doing so, and still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207, or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a fantastic day.